Hello everyone and welcome to Elite Powerlifting Systems. Today we are going to talk about how to bulk up if you are a skinny kid. What I would do when I was a skinny kid, I used to be about 62, 63 kilos, used to look like this, and then over the course of 12 years I have gained about 15, probably a bit more. I'm about 80 kilos now, so that's about 17 kilos. Now some of it is a bit of body fat because I'm bulking up, but just a few tips and tricks on how to gain a bit more muscle. Just put on a bit of strength and size. It doesn't always have to be lean muscle because it takes a long time to build that good lean muscle. So first, what I'd suggest is eating in a 250 to 500 calorie surplus. Take an average of that week. If you have gained 0.2, 0.3, 0.4 kilos, that's a good sign. It means that you are bulking up. You just don't want to be adding like a kilo, 2 kilos per week because you'll be putting on more fat than muscle. Now, in the grand scheme of things, sometimes if you want to, like, I'd say the most is like 0.5. But as a beginner, you might be putting on a lot more mass. You know, are you putting on a bit more fluff than you need to? If not, if it's lean muscle mass, great, keep doing what you're doing. That's what you want to do. So about 250 to 500 calorie surplus. If you're not gaining weight, you are not in a caloric surplus, or something's going wrong with your training, not getting adequate stimulus or something like that, but we'll go into that. The second thing is using compound movements, heavy compound movements. If you're a beginner, even if you're a seasoned lifter like myself, you know, compound movements are still key. As a beginner, I'd say get competent in squatting properly, deadlifting properly, bench pressing properly, row properly, chin up properly, and a shoulder press. So they're the main exercises that if you're not doing as a beginner, you're going to be losing out on a lot of newbie gains. For example, my friend, he is 29, 28. He's just started lifting properly. Like me, when I first started, a bit of a skinny kid, but you'll be fine me saying that. Hopefully you'll be fine me saying that. But in 6 months he's been doing starting strength, and the before and after picture are ridiculous, and all he does is squat, bench and deadlift and overhead press. But I'll show you me when I was a skinny kid and when I did 531 and what I look like after 531 or during 531. Remember, like 4 years into lifting, I did like 100 kilos for 2. Looking back at it, and when I'm coaching people, squatting 100 kilos within 6 to 12 months to say if you're a male lifter. And even my female lifters, to be fair, they're like ridiculously strong. Like Georgia can squat 100 now, Ioana can squat 100. Loads of people that I've coached that have got to decent standard numbers by just doing heavy lifting for 6 to 12 months. Number 3, I would say eat calorically dense food. If you're like me, that's got a really low appetite, and to be honest, even now I still try and force food down me because I'm just not hungry. It's very hard for me to actually eat a lot because I haven't got a big appetite. Good nutritious calorically dense foods like dirty shakes, whole milk, peanut butter, protein powder. Not the weight gainer, because that's just full of shit and sugar. You don't want that. So just the normal whey isolate is good. Like I said, no weight gainers because it's full of sugar, it's full of shit. Maybe a banana in your shake. So yeah, I mean, account for your macros and make sure that you're eating good calorically dense foods. 4th, make sure your program consists of some progressive overload. You want to be able to recover from your last session. So if you're doing heavy squats and you're just going for max singles at failure, you're not going to gain much muscle. You will gain some, but if you're thinking about optimal performance, you don't want to be doing that. I'd say rep range 3 to 6 in the rep ranges at about RPE 8. And if you don't know about RPE and you don't know what it is, I will put a link in the description for my blog on RPE and how you can use it properly. try and be conservative with your training. Do, like if you're doing heavy squats, do 4 sets of 3 to 6 reps, and then progressively overload and starting strength are really good at this with the 5x5. So you're adding 2.5 kilos per session onto your lifts for the squat and deadlift. For upper body it's 1.25. Obviously over the course of 6 months to 12 months, that's a lot of weight. So a real beginner, take and do sub-maximal work and work up to big weights by just doing small increments each week. I think that's the best way to go about it. My clients, if they're beginners, let's say 82% for 5 reps, but they'll do 1 at 8, and then they'll work out the percentage, or the app will work out the percentage, and then from there you do your percentage based training. So for me, that's the best way to go about it. Obviously everyone's different, everyone has their own opinions, but for me, if I was a beginner and I was coaching myself, that's exactly what I'd do, and I'd probably be a lot bigger and a lot stronger than I am now. It was 1.25 kilos for upper body, 2.5 kilos for lower body. You're onto a winner. And you don't really need to do isolation work to an extent. You can, just to get that nice pump, but as a beginner you're going to grow regardless anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Another thing as well is that it's not just what you do inside the gym, it's what you do outside the gym as well. How is your rest and recovery? How's your sleep? Are you sleeping 6 to 8, even longer if you need it, hours a night? Are you getting good, adequate sleep? How's your stresses in your daily life? Now, if you can keep your daily stresses to a low, that'll help you recover because you're less stressed. But sleep is gonna be king. Eating enough protein. Personally, I always have a per gram of protein per pound of body weight. Now, a lot of people say that, and there's scientific evidence to show that you don't need that much protein. But for me, it's just an easy round number. It's a good rule of thumb. So if I'm weighing 80 kilos, then I need 160 grams of protein per day. And if you cut, well, you're not cutting because it's a bulking video, but if you cut, you want to increase that just a teeny bit, maybe like 1.2. That's just my opinion. A lot of people out there, a lot of experts out there, I'm not the expert in nutrition, they say that you only need like 0.7 grams per body weight, but I just like to do 1 because it's just easier for me. And as a beginner, you need to eat enough protein to recover. Sleep and protein are going to be like 2 major recovery factors. And the last one, be consistent, and you got to trust the process. Yeah, focus on like performance rather than focus on aesthetics, because yeah, you want to get big, everyone wants to get big, but get stronger first. You know, have a goal of, I want to squat 100 kilos in the first 12 months of lifting. And then you want to say, okay, I've done that, let's do 150 kilos, and then go up, and then just trying to keep breaking the plateaus that you're hitting. So for me, when last September I was 73.8, I kept cutting. I looked great, but I wasn't getting any stronger. So it's like, what's your goal? Is it to have aesthetics or to get stronger? Now, when you're bulking, you've got to be careful as well, because you don't, if aesthetics is your goal, and what you look like will probably have a major effect on you. So it just depends on what your goal is. I'd say focus on performance goals and focus on getting stronger first, and then look at aesthetics or recomp down the line. That's just my personal opinion. Like I said before, I was 73.8 kilos at my last competition. Now I'm probably going to go into this next comp in June, so that's been 9 months, and I'm going to be like 80 kilos, 81 kilos, so gain like 6 kilos. It's not all muscle, I'm not saying it's all muscle, but at the same time, my lifts have gotten better, my lifts have gotten stronger. So quick recap then, let's go over what we've talked about today. Caloric surplus, be in a caloric surplus, otherwise you probably won't gain that much muscle. Focus on your heavy compound movements, really big one. Sleep, recovery, getting to 6 to 8 hours even more is going to be really important for strength gains. And take your time and be consistent with your eating, training, and eventually you will get huge. Elite Powerlifting Systems. Bye bye.